Let's start with an evidently simple yet ostensibly a very intricate topic relevant to the procedure of cholecystectomy, specifically laparoscopic cholecystectomy. Although open cholecystectomy was being performed for eons before lap chole came into vogue, but with its inception in the 1990s, its enthusiasm engulfed some of the essentially cardinal tenets of this procedure, eventually translating it into a skyrocketing of adverse events associated with it and throwing the beautiful procedure of lap chole into considerable disrepute while also consuming millions of productive lives. Now, if suppose we have this kind of scenario, and somebody tells you to create some presentation out of it, it'll be very difficult because there's already a mess here. So the first thing we need to do is to sort out the mess and get onto a clean slate before we start our journey ahead to discuss an evidently a simple topic. So let's proceed ahead in discussing what plagues the beautiful procedure of cholecystectomy in its laparoscopic form. Starting from a clean slate, so that we can understand well, we can see an idea taking form, and with little more deliberation and diligence, it takes a better form, and we understand that it's a very burning idea which needs to be given its due regard by discussing it and going it down to its deepest details. If we deconstruct this situation, we would understand that it has a number of components, and without these components, the entire idea would be very difficult to grasp. And these components themselves are very, very burning and very crucial to the entire concept of the topic under discussion. What is it? It's the critical view of safety that is in reference to laparoscopic cholecystectomy. This actually is nothing new. It was being, as open cholecystectomy was being practiced for generations before lap chole came into vogue, and it was being practiced pretty safely. It is assumed that all these components were being practiced as they should be by our previous generation of surgeons, and they were doing it pretty well. But with the advent of lap chole, a lot of these things went into oblivion, and they were engulfed by the popularity or the initial enthusiasm of lap chole. So all the safety ingredients of open cholecystectomy could actually not be incorporated into lap chole. So we need to revise what exactly we missed as our enthusiasm with the procedure of laparoscopic cholecystectomy was generated. Now, this concept is known as the critical view of safety, and this was coined by Strasberg in the early 90s, in 1995, and this basically is just a collection of amalgamation of a couple of safety tenets of open cholecystectomy as applied to lap chole, with specific consideration of the optical part of the lap chole incorporated into the safety tenets. Now, it essentially has three components. This concept of critical view of safety has three components, and they are equally important, dynamic, and they have a constant interplay between each other and with many other aspects also, which are not relevant to the concept of critical view of safety, but they are extremely relevant to the procedure of lap chole as it is. So now let's see what critical view of safety by definition is. It's very important to know the detailed components of the critical view of safety. Only then can you consider about achieving them. Now, we have as I said, three very critical components of critical view of safety, and they have to be achieved in letter and spirit, each of them in generally the majority of the cases of lap chole. There are certain pitfalls of this concept that is beyond what I'm going to talk today. So let's get specifically what the ingredients of critical view of safety are. The first ingredient of critical view of safety is the clearance of the hepatocystic triangle of all tissues to allow proper visibility of all the structures. Now, it's very important that here it's the hepatocystic triangle, not the Callott's triangle, because Callott's triangle, the superior boundary is by the cystic artery, and that's a pretty variable landmark. So, if we consider Callott's triangle, we will land up into quite a vague kind of a definition. Whereas the inferior border of liver is more or less constant. So here we are talking of hepatocystic triangle instead of the Callott's triangle. The second component of the critical view of safety is that we need to skeletonize the contents of the triangle and the inferior boundary to an extent when we can only see two structures connected to the gallbladder. That is called achieving the doublet views from both anterior as well as posterior sides of the hepatocystic triangle view, as we see with the telescope. The third aspect of the critical view of safety is that the gallbladder should be separated from the liver bed to expose the cystic plate to at least 33% of the entire gallbladder. This is a pretty variable component because the gallbladder bed depends directly upon the size of the gallbladder, and at times it may be massively distended where the attachment would be pretty voluminous, or it may be a small shrunken gallbladder where the attachment would be very small. So this is a place, this aspect really needs a lot of experience to determine. In a big gallbladder, 33% would be enough, but in a small gallbladder which is chronically shrunken, you will have to tailor it to the safe limits of detachment of the gallbladder bed upfront before you proceed to the ablative steps. This is a safeguard to define and avoid any aberrant ducts or vascular structures which may be adherent to the gallbladder because of the pathology or de novo as a result of an anomaly or something like that. Now, all these three components have to be safely. It is very important to be cognizant of the facts that all these three components of critical view of safety are potentially very dangerous dissections with a lot of potential for harm that may be inflicted knowingly or unknowingly to any of these structures, the main structures or the structures in the vicinity of this critical area. So it is very important that while achieving the components of the CVS, they should be done without jeopardizing any of the structures in this area, and one should be very, very, very careful about this aspect of the procedure, because this is the Achilles heel of the procedure, and any harm which results out of these dissections can totally throw the procedure into a total tailspin, and the results would be totally different from what you may expect. The benefit is converted into abject harm if you are not very vigilant in these steps.